Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Life. And I think if there were a poster child for what I see the mission of this podcast being, it would be Inez Russell. Because Inez Russell, who is the founder and CEO of Friends for Life, is someone who many years ago saw a need and thought, I can do something. What can I do? And then it becomes something so much greater or bigger than you ever could have dreamed it would be. So, Inez, glad to have you here again. We have talked before.
Yes, we have.
And we've been knowing each other a long time. I think since about the beginning of Friends for Life, Truth Be Known, which just celebrated, 35th?
35th anniversary last year.
Anniversary. And it all started, I love telling the origins of it because it's just such an important part of the story. You were visiting your dad in the hospital, right? Many years ago. It was a little lady in an adjacent room, elderly woman who was crying because she thought she was going to die alone.
Right.
So pick it up from there.
Okay. Well, I went to see what was wrong, and I found a lady who was close to 90. She was scared. She grabbed my arm and said, I'm dying. I don't want to die alone. Please don't leave me. So I stayed, and she told me her whole life story. She'd been a college graduate, a librarian for 50 years. She had children and grandchildren, but nobody was coming to see her anymore. And she was sure that meant she was dying. If she were going to live, people would still be coming. So I went and got my Bible, and I read the Bible to her, and I got her some flowers, and I got her a stuffed animal, but mostly I listened. And she decided I wouldn't be doing all that if she were dying. So she got well and went home.
Well and went home. Well, which is awesome. That's great. But that experience showed you there are people, the older folks who are lonely and afraid and don't even know where to turn to for help.
I know. When I was growing up, I thought everybody had somebody.
Yeah.
I had this grandma that took care of everybody. And when I went to see her, we took care of people. And I thought everybody either had a great big family like I do or somebody like my grandma to take care of them. But God showed me that day that there are people who are alone. Some people are so alone they don't have one person on the planet they can call if they need help. And that's why some people have little problems that turn into gargantuan problems because they don't have anybody to help them. So I started Friends for Life. First, I tried to find somebody else, some other organization.
Right, is there an agency doing this?
Right, and bring them.
Yeah, you don't want to reinvent the wheel if there's somebody doing this kind of work.
Well, and we are the franchise city of the world, so I thought we could put something,
That's true.
something to Waco.
Yeah.
But when I couldn't find anything, I started Friends for Life.
Yeah. Well, and I think what one story that struck me was a little lady who was sitting in the dark in her apartment because she couldn't get up on a chair to change a light bulb.
Yeah. And she was
So just
living
simple
in the dark.
thing. Yeah, a simple thing, but
Yeah. So I had a nursing home administrator tell me he had people admitted to his nursing home because they couldn't change light bulbs anymore. And I said, there are good reasons for long-term care, but that's not one of them.
that's not one of them.
We can organize volunteers who can change light bulbs and help them continue to be independent.
Yeah, I know a long time ago when I was working at I think the radio station, maybe before I even went to television, you did things called gifts for grannies.
We still do.
Yeah, because everybody knows about Toys for Tots, but there are some elderly folks who don't have anybody to get them a little something to show
Yeah.
they care.
So this year we took gifts to about 3,000 people.
Did you really?
It'll probably be between 3,500 and 4,000 next year. We're doing some outreach things that I think will increase that pretty substantially. And the other thing that we're trying to do with Gifts for Grannies is not just give them something at Christmas, but remember them on their birthdays also throughout the year, because they don't have anybody to remember them. And it's really a hard thing.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah. So fast forward a little bit, this begins to grow. The needs of our older population become more apparent to you. And then there's the whole guardianship issue.
And actually in 1990, I started Friends for Life in 1989, but in 1990 we got a call asking us if we would serve as legal guardian for a man who'd been found unconscious. He didn't have any family to make decisions, medical decisions for him. And I asked the judge if he would show me everything we needed to know
Now
about that.
that's a big thing to do. Yeah.
It is, and I didn't even know how big that when we were first asked, but I wanted him to get the help that he needed. And that grew us into, we had planned originally, we just served McLennan County with that program, but I got a call from Adult Protective Services one day, and they said, we know you only serve McLennan County, but we have this lady in Bell County who has she's giving all her money away. She was writing $1,000 checks to anybody that came to the door if they would go get her food.
Oh,
and
my
some
goodness.
people went and drove, she wrote them a check and they went and drove through McDonald's and got her a Happy Meal or something. Most people just took the money.
Oh my gosh.
She signed over her car and was about to sign over her house when Adult Protective Services found out about her. And they asked if we would be her guardian, and we did become her guardian, and that kind of opened up the floodgates. We're in 82 counties now. We have offices in Abilene, Beaumont, Corpus, San Antonio, Texas City, Tyler, and we are now the largest nonprofit guardianship program in the state.
And you also collaborated with Baylor School of Social Work because
did,
there
and you
are
helped us.
family, and I got to be involved in that too. But there are people who find themselves in a guardianship position and wonder, what are the legal, what do I need to know about this? And so there is a video course available through Baylor that you help put together that takes people step by step through the guardianship process, and it's quite a process.
It is quite a process, and I'm excited to tell you that Baylor is kind of amping up our online program, so it's going to be even better than it's been in the past, and I'm excited about that, and I appreciate everything you did to help us make that happen.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
It's quite a lot to learn, and our legislature makes changes every other year
Then
to
things
guardianship.
change. Yeah.
And that's really a good thing. When I first started Friends for Life, you could become somebody's guardian if a doctor wrote on a prescription pad that you were incompetent. They don't use that word now, and they have a multi-page certified medical examination that a doctor has to fill out now. And they go through a process in the court where they look at each individual right and determine whether or not the person can retain the ability to do whatever it is, or whether that responsibility needs to be given to a guardian. And I think one of the biggest responsibilities that a guardian has is to constantly look at the person that they're serving to see if they might not need them anymore. If they might
It might not be a permanent situation.
They may regain or gain decisional capacity, and you can go back to court and say they don't need us anymore. And that's the best day of guardianship.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, but they're just the numbers, I think, is what's stunning to me, that people don't generally know how big the need is. And so that kind of brings us a couple of things. The need that folks have for housing, and the need that you have for a bigger place. I mean, you've outgrown your facility. there on Lake Success,
Yeah,
where you
Lakewood,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have, and every part of the work that we do, all the services that we provide have grown so much over the years. And everything we're doing is we've kind of moved and tried to do everything we can to keep from to keep from building a new campus, but we've reached a point where we just have to do that to keep expanding our services and be able to help more people. And our guardianship program is growing, our money management program is growing, what we do to help people live independently, care coordination, helping people access resources, life skills training, all of these things have grown. Our adult daycare center is at capacity. It has been. It stays pretty much at capacity. We need to grow the size of that pretty substantially. We would like to be able to do more in intergenerational programming, bringing older adults and children together. We've had amazing successes with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It's so fun. And I don't know if I've had a chance to tell you that a couple years ago we opened a learning lab in our adult day center and started teaching people how to read. And in some cases that meant letter recognition. They needed to learn
Just
their
basics.
letters.
Yeah.
But they progress and they get stars and certificates, and they get into the treasure box when they go through and complete different modules. And so they're learning computers and they're learning how to read. But also, we have opened our second learning lab just recently, and that lab will, we're getting it set up. They will teach them how to tell time and how to know when people give them the right change, and basic math. And we're going to introduce something called interactive metronome, which is really, really cool. Remember when we played the piano when we had
Yeah, that
that
tick,
little,
tick, tick,
yeah.
tick. Yeah.
Well, they computerized that. And if you focus on being on time with the metronome, don't be ahead of it, don't be behind it, then while you're focusing on it, you can learn.
Really?
And if you do this, even any of us, whether we have a developmental or intellectual disability or any other kind of a learning disability, even if you don't have it, it helps your focus. You have a much more productive day. But those who do have learning disabilities progress so much faster. I mean, it just kind of goes straight into their brain because they can focus so much better. So we're having fun with all of these different things and helping people learn. It was kind of interesting to see. We learned as they were learning. For one thing, we have these big, brightly colored keyboards that have really big keys on them, and that we learned the hard way that was the best kind of keyboard for them. So lots of
And to
learning.
see someone progress and learn skills and learn just basic things to a lot of people, but still for them a monumental improvement in the quality of life. I mean, that's amazing.
And I never thought about how much of my life would be different if I couldn't read. You can't read a birthday card. You
Right.
can't read a menu. That's important to me.
Yeah.
You can't read a street sign. So
know.
how? And if you want to apply for a job, you can't fill out an employment application.
Right.
So we want to do more in the way of employment readiness, helping people. We work with so many people with disabilities, and it's it's a natural thing for us to kind of help them. Between our learning labs and some other training that we can give them, we could help them get a job and help them know how to keep a job. Some of these things we take for granted, and it's so much a part of our life that you have to kind of stop every once in a while and say, what if I couldn't read? What if...
To put yourself in their shoes and realize what would have to change. But it is life-changing.
I wish
for
you
these
could
people.
see how excited they are to learn. And is it my turn? Can I be next? I mean, they're having so much fun with it.
Oh, good. Well, this is amazing.
Easy Sun has been living fearlessly under the sun since 2016. Born from sailors' need for convenient sun protection, our mineral sunscreen is crafted with natural ingredients offering broad spectrum protection against UVA and UVB rays. Safe for your skin and the environment, stay protected on the go with Easy Sun, your ultimate sun care solution. Visit EasySun.com today. That's EEZYSUN.com. Join the Daily High Club, the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and accessories. Since 2015, we've sold over 1 million quality products and teamed up with legends like Snoop Dogg and Tommy Chong. Ready to elevate your smoking game? Visit dailyhighclub.com for our El Primo subscription box or shop unique pieces today.
Shopping is hard, right? But there's a better way. Stitch Fix online personal styling makes it easy. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And she sends just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. I keep what I love and send back the rest. It's so easy. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/Spotify. That's stitchfix.com/Spotify.
So, how are you funded? Is it just volunteer contributions or?
A lot of the money that we use to pay for the work that we do does come from contributions and grants. And there are parts of our work that are completely funded by that, like the independent living programs that we have, our quality of life programs like Gifts for Grannies and Grandpas and Friends for Thanksgiving and Adopt a Grandparent. All of those programs are funded by contributions, almost completely. Some foundation grants. But we also have some program revenue.
Oh, okay.
You know, when APS first called us years and years ago, and started sending people to us for guardianship, they finally said, "Would you like to be paid for this?"
Yeah, well, that might be nice.
Trick question. So I met with them, and we started contracting with them probably 30 plus years ago. The first year we had maybe $8,000 in program revenue, and I think this year it'll be over $3 million.
Oh my goodness!
Because once I found out somebody would pay us, I thought I'll just ask everybody, and some people, of course, said, "Are you kidding me?"
Are you kidding me? No, yeah. Well,
but then
you don't know if you don't ask.
That's
right. Yes, right.
But some people said, "Oh, yes, we have a way that we could pay you to provide that service." And
well, it is a huge service for someone who is vulnerable, for sure.
Well, and it's not just guardianship. I mean, there are some of the other programs that we have. There's funding available.
Yeah.
So we just had to kind of search and
right.
see.
That's I would think is another full-time job. Finding all that. In fact, the other day I saw you and you just come back from somewhere and you said, "Well, I was applying for something," and so they 100% they funded. So I don't even know what it was. Or do you deal with the legislature? I mean, do you deal with governmental agencies, or is this mostly?
Yeah. Some of the fees for services that we receive are private pay.
Yeah. Right.
Just when we don't often have people that can afford to pay for services, but sometimes we do. But we also contract with federal, state, and county organizations, and so we partner with them, and that's the reason that we have 11 audits every year.
Yeah. Oh well, of course.
Yeah.
Which that's
okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
You want to be sure you're doing everything right.
Right.
So.
You want to be sure, because where there's a lot of money, there could also be a lot of some nefarious individual or something doing something. Yeah. I mean, you just never know. And that's why you have the audit. Let's talk now about the need for living accommodations. I know News 25 did a nice story about an individual who was a special needs person. Her parents were getting older. They had always taken care of her. And, there's a point where I'm sure her parents were thinking, what's going to happen when we're not here anymore?
Yeah, it's a big concern. And I hear from lots of parents and family members who are concerned either about a parent or about a child that they may not be able to continue to help. And, we have thousands of seniors on waiting lists here in Waco.
I think that's the statistic I wanted to get out. The numbers of senior adults who are looking for a place to live.
And it's pretty staggering when you start looking at how many people need the help. And the thing that surprised me the most was that we have this need that's growing. Our senior adult population is growing.
Sure.
Our adults with disabilities, I've just recently tried to study that, and that population is growing. And, we're building some housing for these folks, but not at the rate that it's growing. So the need is outgrowing the supply pretty dramatically. So there's a lot that we need to do to make sure that these people have safe places to live.
Yeah, so you have a plan in place, though? Is that's still in the works?
We are working on how we can help with this. We're kind of regrouping right now and evaluating which is the best path for us to take. We serve two populations. We serve seniors and we serve adults with disabilities. Most of the time, those groups need help to be able to live independently.
Yeah.
But the level of help that they need, how much help they need, is different from person to person. So we have some who are very fragile and they need quite a bit of help. And we have others that are not as fragile and able to do more for themselves. And so it's almost two different living arrangements that you need to create to accommodate both. But I think it's very important that we help these people live the best life they can live and be as independent as they possibly can.
Sure, that's ideal. I didn't realize that there's a specific lack of facilities that are accommodating to people in wheelchairs, though.
Yeah. I'm learning more and more about that, and surprised at, I thought that more of this was taken care of across our state, but what I'm learning is that we do have some places, but they're very, very expensive. And most of the people that we serve
They can't afford that.
They cannot afford those kind of prices. So we're studying how it's being done in different parts of the country and different parts of the state, and trying to figure out how do we do this at a rate that our clients can afford, so that they can be independent, but they can have all the help that they need.
And to be safe.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
We want to have a nice place to live, a safe place to live, and let them be as independent as they can be. And for each person, that's a little different.
Sure.
So it's an interesting challenge, but that's okay. God has been so good to Friends for Life. He's grown us so much over the years, and He puts things on our hearts and helps us kind of navigate through and figure out how to provide that service and help these people have a better life.
Yeah.
So,
Do you have a lot of volunteers who
oh
work
my
with you?
goodness, Yes. Yeah. In any given year, we have usually, if not 1,000, sometimes we've had several thousand
Really?
that have worked with us. We're blessed to partner with Baylor and MCC. We have lots of interns and students that do group projects for us. But then we also have homeschool folks that their parents bring them and get them involved. We have businesses that actually will let their employees leave work to do a volunteer assignment
Really?
and come back. They have certain times of the month that they will let them do that. We have churches that are amazing, and sometimes they take on a specific thing. We've had churches that have said, okay, we'll help with home repairs, or we'll help with transportation. And probably of all the things we do, our biggest need for volunteers would be transportation.
Getting somebody to a doctor's appointment. Yeah.
And that actually got more challenging during the pandemic.
I'm sure.
Because it was scary to put somebody in the car with
Yeah,
you when
yeah.
you didn't know for sure. But we're kind of getting back to having more people to help with transportation. Our food delivery program, we work with Shepherd's Heart and Family of Faith and several programs to get food to take to our clients.
So now this is not prepared food. That Meals on
Right.
Wheels does it.
Oh,
but
they
I know
do that, and we
they've
send
got
them to them.
right, and
Yeah.
they've got other challenges themselves, and the numbers of people that need their services as well. But this is like canned foods. That
Yeah, and well, Family of Faith does a lot of fresh food, fresh produce.
Oh, really?
So that's really cool.
Yeah, and that's good. It's
So
healthy
we're able
for 'em.
to take that to our clients, and they can, they wouldn't be able to drive to
Yeah.
go pick it up.
Yeah. Okay, so you're evaluating, your needs. As you say, you've outgrown your facility. Are you kind of at a stage where you're looking at property or looking at
We
something
actually
to
had-
remodel or build from scratch?
Yeah,
or
we actually have a contract on property on Lakeshore Drive.
Okay.
And we're kind of close to MCC, which is great
That's
because
very good.
we partner with them and I've met with John out. We have ideas on things that we're going to partner in the future, and they provided the gym for us for our granny basketball
Yes.
game.
they sure enough did.
They did.
And I played
and
in it.
You were
yeah.
one of our stars.
No, I don't know about that, but
But yeah, we've kind of laid it out how we'd like for it to be, and we're working now on kind of tweaking that and making sure it's kind of hard to not be one of the people that when it's all built you say, oh man, I wish I'd done
wish
it
we had
that way.
done this. Right.
So
And that's
we're-
always, of
I'm
course, a little of that
sure
will
we'll
always
ha-
happen.
I'm sure we'll have some of that.
But the main thing is that your needs are met, and if where you are now, which is the old SMI
and
facility,
we love our building.
and it's wonderful,
great.
and it's the murals. I mean, it's just a fun place, particularly for your adult day services. But for many years with musical therapy group that I used to sing with, that was one of our fun gigs, was to go to Friends for Life, because very animated. That was a very animated audience, and they loved hearing the songs. And
I don't think you could have a better audience.
No, that's
'cause
for
they
sure.
love you so much. And they are
was
so
a lot of
excited
fun.
for you to come.
But I could, even back years ago, it was pretty full, because you have tables and they're doing things, and it's very much an activity oriented time, but it's respite for those caregivers, and it's so important for them to be able to know they're safe and having fun, and I'm sure they look forward to going
they
to
do.
school or going to whatever it is they're doing. But as you tell me now, it actually is a little bit of school involved that's happened over the years. The evolution of Friends for Life, though, for me to see, has just been remarkable, though. And it is a testament, as you say, to God's faithfulness to
It's all
care
Him.
for His people, to care for the elderly. And I mean, that's what true religion is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Caring for the widows and
The widows and the orphans.
the orphans. Well, Inez, you are just such an inspiration to me, and I thank you so much. Anything else that we haven't touched on you wanted to bring
I
up?
think we kind of hit
We-
all the different parts.
Well, we need to do this regularly, because we've got to. There's, as you say, as you've gotten into it, it's just grown and grown and grown, and God has been faithful to provide for you. But it's just kind of, you're sort of on the edge of a real exciting
We are.
new phase
We are.
for Friends
And
for
I would
Life.
love to come back and talk to you as we go along.
Well,
and
we
progress
absolutely-
through this process.
We absolutely will. Thank you so much, Inez
Thank
Russell. You were a joy. Thank you. And thank you for being with us for Central Texas Life. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.